You know when you're looking through your stash and you're trying to find this one specific size and you can't find it anywhere. So we're making a kitchen island, and here is one of the legs. Now to attach the carcass, like the main frame here, I want this wood here, a longer piece, inset 1 inch. And for that I'm going to be using dowels. Now the doweling jig I have lines up right here, and it leaves no flexibility in terms of how inset you want the dowels. So what I need to do is to take this apart, take off the screws and put on a spacer. Now these screws right here are quite short. What I really need is some longer screws so that I can put this in between here. Now I don't have any longer screws here in the shop, and you could say, okay, just run to the store. Well, we live out in the country and there's like a 40-mile drive, so I wasn't planning for that. What do you do then? Well, you make your own screws. So what do you need to make a metal screw? You need a drill press vise, a piece or a rod of aluminum, and a tap and die set. This is the part you use to make screws, and this is the part you use to make nuts. And you can switch these out to create different sizes. And the reason why this is shaped the way it is, the metal shavings get bunched in here so they can fall out. And then you have these threads on the inside here, which is what is doing the cutting. And on this side you have the reverse. This is a 1/4-20. And these kits are pretty affordable, like, I don't know, $15, something like that. I'll put a link in the description. And basically, it's quite simple. What you do is put the rod in the vise and get started, and then this has already been started. We'll go down. The reason why this works is because you have one harder metal cutting a softer metal. So this tap and die set is made in steel, and we're cutting aluminum. So you wouldn't be able to create steel screws with this set. You would need a metal lathe for that. Now the thing you want to do is you want to kind of back off to make sure that it doesn't get bunched up. And also this aluminum is quite soft, so you don't want to break it. You want to be, apply even pressure and be quite careful, and then back off and let all the shavings come off. So here we have the original piece. Now let's add, I've got some blocks here for spacers. Let's use our new screws and extend this. So we're going to take off these screws. And I'm still going to use this setting on a couple of the pieces. It's primarily for the legs of this project where I need this inset extension for these longer screws. Okay, so basically I'm just going through the hole here first. So that works good. And of course, for this project, the threads are already created in here, so you don't need to create new threads for this one. And then we can just screw these in. And then I got some nuts here too, so you can tighten them, and you have a nice extension. So we got the leg here, and let's say this is the board, and I didn't want this board to be like all the way on the corner, which you would have to if you follow the way the jig was created. So I wanted it inset 1 inch. So now with this spacer here, we can put it inset here, and we can create these holes perfectly 1 inch, however long the spacer is. And then we can repeat that on all the other legs, so it's all consistent. Then I'll remove the spacer and use it as normal on these 3/4 inch pieces, so that can fit in the middle. Operation Emergency Screws completed, worked out really good. Now to create the nut, this jig came with these bits that are slightly smaller. So if we're making a 1/4 inch screw and nut, to make the nut, we're drilling a hole slightly smaller than a 1/4 inch, and then we're going to use this part right here. So first step, drill a hole. Now obviously if you had a piece of aluminum and you wanted to create a metal nut, you could do that. I'm going to use a piece of oak here that I had. So you find the right tap, put it in this guy right here, pressure fit. I'm gonna do this, put this here, and we start spinning. And it's the same principle as when you did the opposite or the inverse. Now, one thing that's always a nice idea when you are making screws, whether wooden screws or metal screws, is to use a little bit of mineral oil to lubricate. So there are threads in there. With wood here, you can often just screw a regular screw in and it will create threads, but this will do it a little bit nicer. And we are through. Making your own screws is kind of cool. You can also buy a wooden tap and die set that is meant for making wooden screws, like this guy right here. This is a 3/4 inch size, and you can see the difference here between this set right here, which is the 1/4 inch. Now, it would be hard to make this small wood screws. I mean, wood just isn't strong enough. You know, the smaller you go with wood, the more it's going to break. Of course, aluminum is not that strong either, but relative to wood, it's a lot stronger. So you probably would want to make these screws for like a critical application where you really need strength. But like what we're doing here right now with creating an extension for the jig for the dowels, it works just fine. And this would also be a great choice for making toys. You know, you could have wood and aluminum together for screws and like nuts to screw into. So you can see here, like if I grab this, that it's lifting it, it's like holding in by the threads. I mean, there are definitely threads in there. And you can also see the difference in size here between the 3/4 inch wood screw and the 1/4 inch metal aluminum screw here. I've never tried to make wooden screws this small. Maybe it would work if you had a tropical wood. It would still be really weak, not really worth it. In terms of metal, I mean, maybe you could use copper. I have never tried to make like a copper screw. The metal definitely has to be soft. I think having a set like this in the shop, tap and die set for screws, and one, you know, for wood too, it's just kind of a nice addition. These are not that expensive, these sets. And as long as you have some metal around and some wood around, you are ready to create the perfect size when you need it. So if you're looking to pick up one of these sets, I'll put a link in the description below where you can find one. Thanks so much for watching. As always, thanks so much to our patrons for supporting the channel. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And I'll see you soon.